Yo, what's up, everybody? Podcast time! Yum, yum.
Here we
Shepherd's Podcast with the Jerry Madden and co-host.
No, I left them at home. Co-hosts are at home. It's just me and you, big
Daniel,
boy.
just me and you.
And I'm sitting in the chair.
The chair that Mark Williams sat in.
Mark Williams sat in.
Sometimes I just sit in it and just wiggle around.
So I'm going to tell you a story. Do I need to tell the story now?
Go, yeah.
So I heard T.D. Jakes preach at Ron Carpenter's church.
Okay.
When Ron, when it was redemption before he sold it, made $20 million. But you don't want me to go there.
No.
So I heard Jakes preach. And Carpenter, when he was introducing, he said, last time Bishop Jakes was here, service was over, he used my shower. I guess he has a shower in his office area, and he said he used my shower, and he said after he left, I went into the shower and just rubbed myself all over the water. He's telling that. I'm like, I might understand doing that. I sure wouldn't told nobody I'd done it, though.
It's like whenever the MIP candidates, they go and they sit in the overseer's seat.
Oh, general overseer. Yeah.
General overseer's seat, and they just rub all over his desk, hoping the impartation.
Never knowing he's never there.
Right.
It's just a chair. Go ahead.
So you have in your in this season of your life, okay, I was on the council with you maybe 2021-ish, where I felt like you were on the council of 18, we were on the state council together,
right. And
it felt like you just kind of hit this place in your ministry where you were like, I'm just going to be open and honest about some stuff. Do you feel that shift happened, or has this always been you?
Oh, I think it's always been me.
Okay.
I get a little bit of it from my mother. She'll say whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I say it's always been. It hasn't. When you're first elected to these boards or whatever, you go in. You kind of got to feel your way into the room and where do you fit and all of that. But then, and in time, you feel comfortable. You get your voice, and you feel comfortable with your voice. So, I became pastor at Praise January 1st of 2002.
Okay.
And so next January it'll be 25 years. And so, yeah, probably in the late teens, I kind of felt a little more comfortable with speaking up and sharing. Yeah. But you also get to the point you realize if you don't say something, nobody else.
It's the truth. Serving on the council with you, I've said this about you all the time. There would be conversations where everybody would just look to you, and you helped to lead and guide. I love Brother Bruce Raven. He was amazing. He was great to me. He gave me opportunities that I didn't deserve. Sure. Love him to death. But there were moments in the room where you were by proxy just because of the church that you pastored, the place that you were in life. You were the leader you were the chairman of the state council, but you were the leader in the room, and all eyes would turn to you in certain situations. And your voice was so prominent in the room, you would say, guys, this is the direction we need to go.
It's not anything you try, or it's certainly not anything I try to do. I certainly don't try to monopolize a room or
never
anything
felt like that either. Yeah.
But to him, much is given, much is expected, much
right.
is required, Jesus said.
Yeah.
And we have state council meeting today. This podcast is recorded after a state council meeting. And I prayed this morning, Lord, don't let me say anything.
Did it work?
No. But Sinclair Ferguson, I read something. He pastored Presbyterian Church in Columbia for years. Just a great preacher and speaker, and I'm a Presbyterian, so bring me up on charges. But he wrote a book about the upper room, not the Pentecostal upper room, but the upper room where Jesus has communion, Last Supper.
Yeah,
and he talked about Judas. He talked about at the beginning of the chapter regarding Judas' betrayal. It begins telling you that Jesus is troubled. Jesus was troubled in his spirit. He goes through and serves the Lord's Supper, gives Judas the bread, and somewhere in that chapter he tells Judas, what you're going to do, go do it. What he's put in your heart, go do it quickly. And Judas leaves the room. And then it says, and the Lord felt glory in his spirit. And he brings up the point that in every room we go into, we either make the room better because we're there or better because we leave.
Ooh.
Not just the room is either better because we are there, or the room is better because we leave. And that's one of those things I just wrote down and praying about today. Lord, let the room be better because I'm there. Don't let me be that guy that people wish I would leave.
Yeah, because you'll have some hard decisions on your plate. We dealt with them prior to. So I was on the council for a couple years, and then you were not on during
then I
that
left
time.
And you stayed on.
And I stayed on, right. And so then now we're on the kind of the opposite end of that, where you're on and we're
out of sync.
Right, we're out of sync. So here in this season, we kind of fought some battles to get us to where we are, and now y'all have some tough decisions, both personnel-wise, property-wise, all the things. PD's pool. PD does have a pool.
I've heard that.
So you have some.
I've heard that's all they have.
That is all they have. Y'all have some tough decisions coming up. Latest update on tough decisions?
We met today, and so we have a committee being put together to formulate the presentation to the ministers that we hope to make this summer.
Who's on the committee?
I don't know yet. The letter hadn't gone out. Let me backstep a little bit.
Sure.
South Carolina is at a point that we have to make some decisions.
Have to make some hard decisions.
And you know this. Our denomination is a kick the can down the road denomination. Right. We elect people, and we limit them as soon as we elect them.
Crazy.
You can serve for 2 years, 4 years. So who wants to embark on a major project that they're probably not going to get to see finished?
Right.
And so our leaders tend to, what do I need to do to get through my 2-4 years?
Because our project manager told us when he put the presentation together, he said you're looking at 10 to 20 years to finalize all of this. From point A to finalize.
Yep.
We don't even have a process to where an overseer could stay that long.
Well, you won't have a council stay that long. All the faces will be different.
Gone.
So what that has brought us to, and it's not anybody's fault.
Right.
It's the system. It's systemic to our organization. What it's brought us to is decisions that needed to be made 10, 12, 20 years ago were not made.
Yep.
And so now we have as a state very deteriorated properties that it would cost more to fix them than it would be worth.
Yeah.
I mean, we would be throwing, and we talked about PD. The PD estimate right now is over $1 million
to fix,
to get it back to being PD, an older property. Same thing in Malden, $1 million plus to get it back to being property that's 50, 60 years old, and then it's going to need how many more millions to renovate and upgrade. So all that's because decisions have just been pushed down the road. But we're at a point that I think there's a great opportunity for us to make some decisions for the future. Here's the other thing we've done historically, in my opinion. Our budget, and you were on finance and budget with me, the state budget is enslaved to the decisions of the past.
No doubt.
When United States government, I think 89% of the annual budget is already spent.
Wow.
Based on commitments of previous Congresses, et cetera. When we go into the state budget review, we're already committed.
That's right.
Most of that money is already committed. We're committed to personnel. We have to have, we have 3 state directors. I don't know. We have to.
I love it. Here we go.
And that's not anything personal about anybody.
No, for sure.
It's organizational.
Totally get it.
It's organizational.
You and I both grew up in a denomination on a state level. Your brother is a part of this process. Wasn't your dad in this?
My dad was evangelism director, and my dad was home for children superintendent.
So you know the system.
Sure.
And what is happening in today's culture is not the same system that we needed from 50 years ago. It's a different world.
It's a different world. One of the things we're going to talk about in this meeting is just the reality that my dad was state home children superintendent for over 10 years. That's a different world today.
It's a different world.
That's a different world. I get why those decisions were made in the 1960s.
Right.
We're 60 years away from that. Mm-hmm. We have to take a look at who we are today. Talking about the budget, we go into that budget and most of it is already committed to decisions that were made 50, 60 years ago. So if there was an opportunity to do new ministry today, we can't do it because we don't have, I'm sorry, the budget's already committed to, 50 years ago we bought 2 properties. So you were on the finance committee with me and 30% of the state budget's already committed to keeping up 2 properties. Done, going out the door. That you only use 28 days a year. And I know we have very sentimental, we're tied to them heartstrings.
No doubt.
But let's consider what we're not doing. What would a budget be like that operated from vision for the future, not from obligation to the past?
And you and I both have a crazy amazing property. How many acres you have?
58.
58 acres and facilities and homes, a retirement community almost. I don't know, is that what y'all call it? A retirement community?
Yeah.
It's amazing. Your property is amazing. And you and I both know, having the facilities that we do, that you are constantly, every single day, you have somebody going around painting something, fixing something, changing something, upgrading something.
It costs money.
Every single day.
It costs money.
And if you wait till the week before camp meeting or the week before youth camp to try to get a property updated, you're just going to say, well, we can't do that this year. We'll tackle it in August. You're never coming back to tackle that in August because you're not going to see it till the next year at youth camp. And so it's just happened at our properties after year after year after year.
And all this ties together because you and I, we see our property every day. And we're here for the long term. Right. And we say, we got to get this, we need to do that. But someone who's only going to be here 2 or 4 years on a state level comes in and sees, the property's kind of going down, but I'll be out of here.
Right.
I don't know if I want to.
Don't ruffle any feathers.
I don't want to embark on a $500,000 project.
Right.
Or I'll tell you, and I say it costs money. Last year we renovated the interior of our sanctuary. Right. I don't know if you've been in yet.
I haven't.
Right at $1 million. Just it costs what it costs. So last weekend I meet with my council and we've done the inside. Now we got to go outside because the parking lots are old, and so we're looking at another $500,000-$600,000 that we approved to. That's what you have to do
constantly.
It costs money, and the more property you have, the more it costs. And so when you look at state properties, we're at a point now that we can't catch up. It got so far behind. You know this. We got so far behind on things that should have been fixed, and we're kicked down.
No possible way to catch up.
Well,
I mean,
unless we don't have the money.
A millionaire walks in and says, "Here goes $7 million, $8 million. We could catch up then." But
you could get them back to being old buildings.
apart from that. No. There's no possible way.
No.
We don't have the influx of capital to be able to make that a reality.
And as you and I talk right now, year to date, tithe giving's down a little bit. So no, there's not the money that we have in reserve. 25% of it by General Assembly minutes we can't touch because it was from the sale of a property, and it can only be used to plant new churches. Can't be used for state property.
Which you and I were on that council that. Yeah, put that in a separate fund here. Let's earmark it.
The interest can be used, but the principal has to stay here, only be used to plant new churches or to aid struggling churches. That's it, according to the minutes. The other 75%, we are on the hook for a lot of mortgages across the state. We are co-signers or the names behind, and we have to have in reserve the money to cover that mortgage in case church doesn't. So no, there's no cash. There's no Fort Knox at the state level. And I don't think these decisions are as hard as we're making them.
It's the heartstring.
It's the heartstring.
Yeah. If we're not touching retired ministers, we're going to leave them there.
No, never. And we're not going to touch the residences at Malden.
Right. We're leaving
them off the table. We're in agreement with them, and we're not going to break that agreement.
Right.
And I wouldn't vote for breaking that agreement.
Agree completely.
But we even threw it out today. If we move forward with the sale of properties. And I won't get into details,
Sure.
but on both ends of the state. How about everybody?
Yeah.
If we move forward with that, we could net enough to just live to the budget. The state budget will be covered by the interest from the sale of those properties. And then you can take the state money and have a vision to do things you've never been able to do before. And we just threw this out in the room. Every pastor in that room has at least one person, most of us multiple people in their church, who are struggling with drug issues. Mm-hmm. You probably got it.
Absolutely.
And the sad part is I have to farm them out to other rehabs because we don't have anything.
You're right.
Pennsylvania, Peniel. And we got preachers' kids who are struggling with drugs, and we have to farm them out to secular rehabs, many of them that are very good, but still. We could have a state Church of God rehab center somewhere that we send our people to. Man, wouldn't that be phenomenal?
But right now you can't have vision because you have no money to
money to do it.
You have no ability to dream at all right now.
No, because you're enslaved to the budget of the past
and
the decisions of the past.
People think that, hey, one of the ideas that were very popular at the meeting that we were at, the state ministers meeting, they said something to the effect of, hey, we know enough guys in the state that could come and fix.
That's
and it's being in the room, it's laughable because we know the AC unit alone.
Yeah.
That there's like 7 of them that have to be changed because we went from electric to gas and now we've got to do XYZ.
Hundreds of thousands.
And it was like $500,000, I think, once you got to all of, and like we don't have that. Like that, guys.
It's just not there.
Just that one. It's just AC units that we don't have.
Going back to when I first went on the council, which I think was 2004, it might have been 2006, somewhere in there. And the first issue I remember coming up on campgrounds was mold in the underneath the tabernacle, east tab, west tab, there was mold. And the solutions were always this. I got a guy in my church.
I got a guy.
I know a guy. And we went with that because it was cheap. And guess what? For 25 years, we've been fixing mold underneath the tabernacle.
Is it still there?
It will be next when we go into youth camp.
Because the last time when I came off the council, we did a thing where we did the big humidifiers and all that. It was going away.
But again, you go back to the tabernacle, which used to be this building, and then we added to it, and the foundation never was added to, and you have walls between walls. Water will always find a way to get through, and so, yeah, it's always there.
It's a mess.
Yeah, but hopefully we can see the reality of the opportunity. I think we should see this. We got a real opportunity to be able to do something positive for our children. I mean, well, for you, you're a young guy, but 10 years from now, I'll probably be sailing somewhere. But for my sons and my grandchildren, the Church of God will have an opportunity to be doing real ministry in that day, not enslaved to decisions that I may or may not have wanted to make. That because they were hard, because they were emotional. Yeah. Hey, I love the campground too. I spent my dad was on the youth board, and we were at all the youth camps. We didn't go to one; we went to all of them. Yeah. I worked in the cafeteria with the Kilmans, and that's just part of my life. But you don't keep it alive just because of what it was.
Yeah.
When we built the sanctuary we're in now at Praise Cathedral. Beside it, we had what we called the old sanctuary, okay? Current sanctuary seats about 1,800. The old sanctuary would seat about 800.
Which is what, the children's facility or the youth facility?
It is now.
The children's facility now?
Facility.
Okay, interesting.
As the church grew, the children grew as well. But for years, we didn't do anything with it. I mean, it was a beautiful facility. Had these arches across the ceiling, natural wood color, rock in the choir. It was a beautiful facility, but it sat empty because nobody wanted to do what needed to be done, which is our children's church is overflowing, and we need to do some modern contemporary things. And so we did go in there, and I remember we painted the ceiling black. Oh Lord, you would have thought. The And I had a former joint overseer who's with the Lord now. Well, if he's saved, he's with the Lord. I don't know. He wasn't a joint overseer, he was state overseer, former state overseer. And he just came in and let me have it. That we had desecrated that building and turned it into a children's building and a youth building, and we had these pictures up. And
I wonder what he thought when you added the big playground inside of it and the slides and all that.
I don't know, but I couldn't just leave it empty because somebody's funeral was in there 10 years ago, or somebody's wedding was in there 15 years ago. It's what you have. You got to use all you have.
God has called you to be a good steward.
Yeah, sure.
You have property, you got to be a good steward of the property you've been given.
And sometimes being a good steward of the property means, hey, we need to let this property go and take the profit and use it for the kingdom.
That's right.
So that's where the state is. We have to make the decision.
And the last time I feel like the council I wasn't in the room, but whenever y'all came out, it felt like maybe the council wasn't even on the same page with the direction y'all wanted to go. Do you feel like the council's on the same page now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we've always been on the same page.
Same page.
I
think
the question's been how to get there.
How to get there, right? Yeah, that's a better way to phrase it.
How do we get there? And you're all. I think once everybody agreed, we're not going to do anything with the residents. We're not going to add more residents.
Right.
But the people we are in an agreement with, we have to honor that agreement.
Yeah.
I think once we understood that, then we could find a path forward into the other segments of it. And you're a PD guy. I'm in the upstate. Let me just mention this. My dad did pastor the Bennettsville Church of God, and I lived in Bennettsville for over 2 years. So I know what I had my tonsils out at McLeod Hospital in Florence.
You one of us.
I am one. I bled in PD.
We claim you.
I bled in PD.
Let's talk about.
But we've let that division cause tension between us.
1,000%.
That shouldn't be there.
Let's talk about. Your dad was the superintendent of the Home for Children.
He was.
The Home for Children has changed through the years. It is a completely different. I'll say this, so Jerry doesn't have to say the thing. It is a completely different ministry now than what my dad supported back in the 80s.
Yeah. Let me talk. Let me talk. Where am I going to start? It is a completely different ministry because the government of South Carolina has changed how agencies can take care of children.
For sure. Yeah, not
nobody
us
had a vision to.
Right. No, it's not us saying we don't want to.
Exactly
it was
right.
The state government officials. They said we've got to do
has
some things
said this is the way care of children has to take place.
And it's tweaked a little bit even in the last, I don't know,
well, it changes
10,
with
years.
every governor.
It feels like
it changes with every governor.
So
when my dad was there in the 90s, my dad left Elmwood and went and became the superintendent of the home. So when he was there in the 90s, it was mostly private placement children. You had some children that came in through DSS, but
private placement meaning my wife and I have a kid. We're Church of God. We can't handle it. Can you take my
pastors would call. I got a family here. So you had that. Now you did have some DSS kids there, but they didn't get the money they're getting from the state now.
Right.
So, and I remember I would come into Dad's, he lived in the superintendent's home, and I would come in there at night, and he would be cutting labels from soup cans because he would get 2 cents a label.
Oh.
And he would sit there all night just cutting labels, whatever he had to do to raise money, because you didn't have that government money. Mm-hmm. The government changed the parameters of how you can care for children, so much so that most of the group homes in the state closed.
Yeah.
Miracle Hill, which was one of the premier miracle homes, premier group homes, they closed because they have a group home. You have to have full-time security. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have to have full-time medical staff.
Wow.
The requirements of
and we don't have either one of those.
We don't have either one of those.
Yeah.
And of course, they drove everyone to the foster care system. Now, you were in the council. Brother Kearns would come and tell us they're driving us to foster care. This is coming.
Is the future. Yeah.
The future will be foster care children across the state.
Throughout the state, right.
And And so it's just getting there.
We will almost have homes for children rather than a home for children, and we'll have a office that facilitates all of these decisions.
I would suspect that that's probably the future.
Not because we don't love kids, not because we're not fulfilling the
Well,
James
it's actually a greater
1.
opportunity.
Right.
It's actually a great, if you have one central place, you can only have so many children.
Right.
But if we are, as Brother Kearns mentioned years ago, if we are going out into the state developing foster care in every church, you could have foster care child.
Kudos to Brother Kearns for leading this charge.
Yeah, he talked about that for years. Now, we never got from point A to point B.
Right.
But we see the inevitability of it. Yeah, this is the future of this type care. And again, we just have to kind of cut some heartstrings of we've always driven by and there it's been, but the state just doesn't. If we can only have 5 foster children per house by state.
Wow.
So the most we could have on that property is 15 kids.
Before it turns into a group home where you have to have full-time security and
That's all that let us,
and all that sort of stuff.
15 would be the most, because you got 4 homes. One of them's not that's superintendent tagged home. Yeah. So you got 3. So the most you could have would be 15 kids at a time. So the government's changed it, and we just have to adapt to it. But it's an opportunity.
Opportunity, right?
I mean, think about you have one little piece of property there that has 15 kids, or you go into every church and you develop foster children among Church of God people, and you have 400 kids across the state.
Let's say you traveled 30 weekends a year to go present this vision, not you, Brother Kern. Traveled 30 weekends a year to go present this vision into 30 churches each year, and picked up one foster care parent inside of half the churches you go to. In 1 year, you're
back. You're
ministering. You're doubled, right?
You're doubled. But the reality that in giving foster care, you get money from the government. But if we continue like the 120 Club, the Church of God could create in South Carolina a foster care network where we're giving you a supplement as well.
How beautiful.
And they are coming to Church of God churches, and all of a sudden, I think there's 4,000 foster kids in the state. If we had 400, the overseer mentioned this, a tithe.
Yeah.
If a tithe of that was in Church of God homes all across the state, who can argue with that?
How beautiful.
Who can argue going from 15 to 400? You would have many people in your church that would, I think, as we would, I could do foster care. I could do that. And it's a win-win.
It's beautiful.
It's a win-win. So that's one of the concepts we're talking about, and have had some conversations, and we'll continue to have.
So I know you made let's just continue working through this journey. I know you said something on a podcast previously. We made a little bit of fun about the youth director role. Your brother is in Cleveland now. We're in his portfolio.
Let's clarify. The director, not the current director.
Not
the state position.
Correct. Yeah, not our current youth director.
Or former.
Or any of them, yeah. Just the role.
Yeah.
Your brother in his portfolio is the youth department.
Yeah.
Did he call you and say, Jerry, what are you doing?
No. He'll text me if he's mad at me.
Did he text you and say, Jerry, what are you doing?
No.
So do you want to reestablish
I'm not going to speak for him, but I didn't hear from him.
Do you want to reestablish your position here, or do you?
I'll be glad to. I think
or did your position change since that conversation?
No. My position hadn't changed.
Yeah.
State youth director is a position that was created in the 60s.
Yeah.
And was needed and was valid, but where we are today, in some states. Now, if you go back and listen to my podcast,
you did say in some
I've been misquoted. If you go back and listen, in some states, it's a position that's really no longer needed.
Yeah.
North Georgia, which is the largest state among Church of Gods, does not have a youth director per se as the system.
Yeah.
They have a non-tenured position, a man who oversees youth ministries along with other things. He oversees youth camps. He oversees teen talent. Everything a youth director does, he does that. He fulfills that role. But it's a non-tenured position, and it's one person. So the state.
So what else is in his portfolio besides youth ministry? Is he like church planting, church ministries guy?
Yeah.
He's all that stuff too?
Yeah. But with that also comes oversight of the legacy property, which is their youth camp property. So they've been able to develop a nice property because they have a non-tenured position.
Totally makes
someone
sense.
who's always there, who sees it through. When in the 60s, when the youth director position was created, most churches didn't have youth pastors.
Right.
They didn't have youth. They might have had a youth leader. So the position was created to provide corporate youth ministry across the state.
Yeah.
Every church we have now has someone leading youth.
Absolutely.
Whether they're on staff or part-time or volunteer, every church we have has that. So that demand is not what it was. Now, to have someone coordinate interactions between them, that's great. But, the programs we do, junior talent, teen talent, 3 weeks of youth camp, those aren't full-time necessarily.
So do you think we won't use Josh because or any previous guy, but
some states.
Freddie.
I think large states.
Do you think Freddie coming into South Carolina and we say to Freddie, hey, you can either stay a part of the system or you can be a non-tenured guy here like North Georgia. What do you think those guys would prefer? The youth, the people.
I would think the current youth directors would prefer it be left alone because it gives them a track.
Yeah.
And once you get in the system,
yeah,
that's the way our system works. Once you get in the system,
how did you never get in the system?
I have no interest in the system.
Because your brother's in the system.
I'm a pastor.
He's all the way at the top now.
He's a big deal.
He's a big deal.
I'm just a pastor.
Yeah.
The pastor is the best job, and it's not a job. It is your life.
Yeah.
And I counseled one young man who I won't mention his name. We both know him and love him. He was approached about going into the youth director system, and he was pastoring a very successful church. And I said, "Don't do it." And he said, "What?" I said, "Don't." And he said, "Well, they're making me promises." I said, "Here's the problem: the people making you the promises today aren't going to be driving the train when it comes time to cash in the promises."
Yeah.
You're at a great church. You're doing a great job. They love you, and I'm sure there's days he wishes he had listened. There's probably, and he's been very successful.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
so don't anything. So that doesn't appeal to me. For my life to be in the hands.
Early on, I didn't know Jerry Madden. I knew of Jerry Madden. I knew the aura of Jerry Madden when it walked into the room. I didn't know Jerry Madden until I served on the council with you. And I tell everybody, I love me some Jerry Madden. He is amazing, and he's a straight shooter. You don't play. This is what it is. I mean, you play around a lot, but you're not like no. This is how I feel. You don't have to worry. You don't have to guess. But one of the things, we were having a conversation one day, and it was about this because for me, there's a lot of projections about what people think I aspire to be.
Okay.
And we were talking one day, and you said very similar, that same conversation. The highest calling is the role of the pastor. And I never heard a successful pastor say that, and not with also but if God ever leads me elsewhere, then I'll go. And you said it with such confidence, like, no, I'm retiring here. And I was like, yes, Lord, that is what I want to be. I have no desire to go through that journey. I want to retire here doing what God has called me to do.
Now, I believe in the gift of administration.
No doubt.
And I think a denomination needs people in that.
1,000%.
One of my criticisms of us will be we have taken some of our best pastors and
best
put them in positions where their gift is gone. Mm-hmm. And many times they struggle in those positions because that's not their gift.
Right.
But the way we've set our hierarchy, that's the role. Might have been before your time, but Maxwell did a study for the Church of God.
I heard of the study. It was before my
his
time.
organization.
Yeah.
I think Lamar Vest was general overseer.
Yeah.
And the consensus of his report was your paradigm has to shift upside down because your leadership, you've put leadership up here and you need to flip it where the leadership is down on the field. That's all I'm saying. Of course, we paid a lot of money for that and then filed it away and never did anything with it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm saying let's put it down where the work's being done. As far as youth director, I mean, we could look at it in South Carolina at some point in time if we want to. And at some point in time, the money may dictate that we have to look at it. But you have 3 directors, and I think we could easily function with 2. And that's no insult to any person. I think we could do this. And
we may have to tighten our boots up a little bit. We may have to do some things, but we could do it.
No, you wouldn't have to tighten up too much. Here's the other thing.
Another secretary? What would?
Well, you got a secretary.
Got a secretary.
Here's the thing. It would. See, now,
I don't know, I'm trying. I'm trying.
Here's the thing. The other thing it affords. You have a South Carolina person in that position.
Yeah.
And it's not because we want it. It's they know us. They get us. They know who we are, and that just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
See, part of this whole thing of don't you want to get in the system, and why would I want to go be? With no offense to David Kemp, because I love David and I appreciate what David's doing.
1,000%.
I wouldn't be comfortable as the overseer of Michigan because I don't know Michigan.
Right.
I don't know Michigan people. How can I? And David's done it well, and so hats off to him. But I think that's his gift. I don't know Michigan, but I know Greer, and I know. So that's where I'm at. One of the first general committees I was asked to be on. It was a little ad hoc committee from the, I don't remember, it was the executive committee, I guess it was. And me and Raymond Culpepper and Jimmy Smith were to be on this committee to evaluate the salary structure for state youth directors.
Wow.
And evangelism directors.
Here, right here.
Yeah, that's one of the first ones. We met at the old Holiday Inn on the Hill in Cleveland, Tennessee. Yeah. You were probably at Lee going to hear Mark Williams preach at South Cleveland while you're sitting on the front row, googly-eyed.
Trying to figure out what that man was talking about.
I get it.
Googling worked. We didn't have Google back then. But.
Well, we go into this meeting and they talk about the salary structure for the youth directors and evangelism directors for the states. And so, these 2 guys, they're up there, and I'm just this new little pastor at this church. And so Raymond finally looked at me and said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, I think the state ought to decide what the salary is for the youth director and the evangelism director." He kind of backed up like this. He said, "Really?" I said, well, think about it. The state knows what their budget is. They know what they can afford. And then there's a reality here that to live in South Carolina is much cheaper than living in New York.
Right.
So if you set a general salary, you can't set one that's going to apply to both of them. So wouldn't it make sense to let the state decide what that amount is? And then one of the other members said, oh, no, you can't do that. We can't let the states decide that because then people will be going to where the state that pays the most money. And no, we have to – and you suddenly see the difference in the mindset between the hierarchy of the organization and the grassroots. But that was the first committee I was on.
Let's talk the Aura General Assembly. General Assembly's coming.
It is coming.
It is.
Mickey Mouse, you're going to be so happy.
I'm about to say, my wife is thrilled.
You're going to be so happy.
My wife's like, I am not going to assembly, but I am going to the assembly.
I understand.
So let's talk a few things here. Number one, Council of 18.
Yes, sir.
You are on the council. This is your second time on the council. Third time on the Council of 18. It's a really cool honor that your peers honor you and put you in that role of 18 people over thousands of ministers.
It's two things. It is an honor.
It's an honor, for sure.
I know it's South Carolina guys.
Yeah.
And I know it's because of the church I pastor.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anything about me. I know it's about the church that I pastor and the state that I pastor in and our relationship. And that's why I'm there. And I'm honored by that. And I try to serve well. And going back to I'm not afraid to speak up.
Right.
If you're there, you are elected by your peers.
Right.
To speak up,
right?
Protect us, be our voice, and so I'm not. I'm looking at the executive committee, and I asked a pretty pointed question a couple of weeks ago that might have made some of them uncomfortable. But they didn't appoint me to the Council of 18.
I was going to say I talked to an overseer who is on the Council of 18, and he said we need Jerry's voice because those guys decide our future.
That's exactly right.
Where they don't decide Jerry's future, but they decide our future.
I was playing golf with, remember Harold Downing?
I do.
I was playing golf with Harold Downing. I was the pastor at Praise, and he and I and somebody else were playing golf, and he had like a 5-foot putt left. All right. And he stood over it.
Waiting for you to give it to him.
And I'm standing behind him, and I said, if you had something I wanted, I'd give you that state. But you ain't got nothing I want.
Putt the thing.
He missed
it. Did he
it.
pass away recently?
I don't know that.
He passed away recently.
I don't know
or
that.
I know he was very sick if he didn't pass away.
But anyway, yeah, when you're elected to the Council of 18, especially as a pastor, you're there to represent. Mm-hmm. And so to ask those hard questions, that's why you're there. And I don't go in there looking for them.
Sure.
It's not like you're on a mission, and but when it's in front of you, you got to ask the hard questions.
So huge honor. You go into those moments. We're at assembly now. You are on the Council of 18, and you set the agenda for this assembly.
I'm actually on the agenda committee this time.
Okay,
and so we've already met and passed some things, and we got some real intense meetings coming up.
Okay, because I've heard this is
April.
not. There's nothing on this agenda.
Well, there'll always be something on the agenda. Here's the interesting thing about that, because I have to, a come clean moment. I've got the agendas before and looked at them and think, what in the world?
Why are we traveling
meeting?
to Orlando to vote this?
Well, we're traveling to Orlando because the General Assembly minutes say we have to have a General Assembly.
Right.
What's on the agenda only comes from the field.
So we had this conversation the other day off air. So talk through this because I don't think guys know this.
The agenda committee doesn't sit down and say, what can we talk about? Mm-hmm. That's not what it's about. The motions for the General Assembly come from two places. One, they will be the motions we did not get to in the previous assembly. Mm-hmm. Those are automatically carried over. So those will be on the agenda this time. And then the motions that are submitted from the ministers of the Church of God. We review those motions. If we get 3 motions on a particular ministry, we may combine them into one.
Right.
But it all comes from the field. So whatever you want the church to discuss or consider, send it in. Mm-hmm. It's purely what comes in from the field.
I know a mutual friend of ours, Patrick Conley, last year, or I guess 2 years ago, last assembly, there were a few agenda items that he helped to craft and write.
And he's doing that now. He'll take and don't be afraid just to send in as best you can word it your motion. Yeah. Because we have wordsmiths and we have parliamentarians who will reach for the general idea and try to put it in an acceptable format. And that's what Patrick does. I've got a motion I've served on the International Restoration Committee 3 times. Okay. This is my 3rd time.
Restoration meaning somebody has
lost their license. For whatever reason.
Taken away.
They have to go through restoration. The Restoration Committee is the last group that reviews it before the International Executive Council approves it. Okay. Or doesn't approve it. And so we noticed an inconsistency. There's 3 ways to lose your license. In 2 ways, if your license is lost, the state council has to sign off on it. On one way, which is the most egregious way your license is lost, state council doesn't have to sign off on it. So I've crafted a motion that, no, state council needs to sign off on all state or regional council, on all candidates. They're the guys in the state. A state overseer can be brand new and not know anything about circumstances. State council is going to have a good knowledge of what's going on. And so
totally makes sense.
Just make it consensus. All three, they have to sign off on it. Patrick is word crafting that, and so that'll be on there. So that's how motions are. So everybody listening, if there's something you think the church should consider, make the motion and get it in, because now it's too late for the bylaw issues. And there's a couple of bylaw issues that we did approve. It's nothing earth-shattering. I think one of the bylaws is that if you want to change the declaration of faith, you have to serve it by putting notice in the evangel, certain issues. Well, the evangel's not printed as much as it used to be, so we have to clean all that stuff up. But no, get it in. I think the next meeting's April the 7th, and so you get it in, we'll look at it. Absolutely. And it's your agenda.
So interesting. I don't think people understand that. I think that is so interesting.
It's your agenda. And some guys might think, well, I'll wait and get to the assembly and submit my motion. But a lot of times those motions get held back to be reviewed by legal parliamentarians. The sooner you get it in, the better chance you have.
So you're running in circles that most men don't run in.
I don't think about it like that.
You have a brother that is one of those top guys.
Yeah.
You have friends that you've golfed with that are in that upper echelon of decision makers for a denomination running 10 million people.
Okay.
So do you get the phone calls going into – I think if I'm a pastor of 100, a young guy, here goes the question I would want to ask you. Do you get the phone call saying, hey, we're pushing XYZ, pass that around in your voting block going into assembly?
No, never got that.
I don't either.
Never got that. And I know there's the idea of conspiracies. I've never got a formal phone call of, hey, we need you to do this and we need you to do that, especially not from anyone in an elected office. Most of that comes from pastors talking together about, hey, this is what I think. Let's you have your groups and okay, let's push this or let's push this. And now we all know there are voting blocks in the organization, and you'll see it at the assembly. And the sad part of that is, if you're not part of one, you probably are going to be outvoted on everything. Yeah. In the last few years, we have tried to talk. When I go to the assembly or any time I vote, first of all, what's right according to Scripture? Mm-hmm. What do the minutes say? What's best for my people? What's best for the state I'm in? Yeah. That's kind of the criteria that I try to go by. But no, I've never gotten an arm twist or anything along those lines. Going in the last assembly, some of the guys were surprised that Gary went up, but a lot of us in South Carolina began to converse and say, hey, maybe he's
our guy.
He's
a local boy.
Here we go. He's one of us.
He's one of us.
You vote for who you know.
Right.
You vote for who you have. You're talking about relationships. You vote for who you have relationships with that you've come to learn to trust, and hopefully you don't vote for those that you may have concerns about.
Yeah. And honestly, last year's assembly was not a great time going in. You serve on the lead board.
Yeah.
Going into assembly, there was chaos.
Yeah.
It felt like there was chaos, and then we got to the assembly, and you saw there's not chaos.
No.
There were just some barking dogs.
We spend way too much time on social media, and we put way too much credence on what's posted on social media. And that's not just the church; that's the whole country. But the church is guilty of it too.
And I think Gary got a little bit of that push because of he just kind of was out of the chaos.
Yeah.
And so I think he got a little bit of the, hey, let's just put somebody up that's out of the chaos.
Yeah. People got tired of it. It had its own life cycle.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, enough. It can't be that bad.
It can't be.
It can't be that bad. I was on the Lee board and went on at it. Excuse me, in 2008. And
Is that tenured?
No. And so I was there in the great years, and then there were some years that weren't great. And, there was a lot of there was some truth in things being said, and then that truth was really blown out of proportion. Probably the hardest meetings I've ever had have been in the Lee boardroom.
Wow.
When I had to say, this is wrong, and those were some tense meetings.
Back to voting blocks. How about on the state level? Do you walk into your ministers meeting and you go, "Hey, my retired ministers, y'all are coming. I want to see XYZ happen"?
No.
Yeah.
No. Now, if someone calls me and asks me an opinion, I'll give them my opinion.
1,000%.
And if the staff says, "Pastor, state council, who's good?" I'll probably just say, "Well, this is who I'm voting for."
Yeah.
But I never have. 12 names.
Yeah.
I'll wait and see, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
But no, I don't get those calls, and I don't hand out a list to my staff.
The very first ministers meeting I was ever a part of. I cannot think of the guy's name. Old retired guy. He's probably dead now. Me and my dad walked in. My dad said, "Watch this."
Where was the meeting?
It was at
Florence.
No, it was at the one that's on the same road as the campground now.
Donaldson, the old Donaldson Church.
No, the other way towards Simpsonville. Maybe it is Simpsonville.
Is
there a road down there?
Simpsonville Church, yeah.
So I think it was there.
Okay.
Anyways, we're at ministers meeting, and my dad said, "Watch this. Hey, brother, how you doing? Good to see you." This old guy, and he said, "Hey, got two of my boys here with me. It's their first ministers meeting. So nice to meet you." He turns back around. The old guy turns back around. All of a sudden, he turns back around to us and hands us a sheet of paper with his number on it, and it says, "Hey, if you guys are wondering who to vote for state council, put me down." And I thought, that is so interesting.
Yeah. I think there's something in the Bible about that. Not aspiring to. It's the system.
It's the system.
It's sad.
It's the system.
And anybody who thinks they want to be on the state council, I'll tell you, as a general rule, I don't vote for people who are running.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you are running for a position, you're not going to get my vote.
Yeah.
If you're open and willing, that's a different conversation. But if you're running for it,
So obviously, I know all the ins and outs of the state council serving there, but Council of 18, I've heard you say you have some statements about maybe the glamour of the role not matching the impact that the role may have.
Well, it is an honor.
It's an honor for sure.
It's the highest elected office that a pastor can serve in. Our highest elected position. Now, of course, now that's been broken, but we might talk about it in the assembly or not. I don't know. I'm waiting on that motion to drop. Yeah. But in general, it is an unbelievable honor. My dad wept when I was elected to Council of 18 because my brother and I were both elected on the same Council of 18.
That is so cool.
Somebody said it's the first time brothers have ever served.
That's
I don't
amazing.
have any idea, but I know my dad. My mom said my dad just broke down and wept. So if for no other reason than it blessed my dad, okay. Mm-hmm. But you have this idea that you're going to go up there. You're
going to change the world.
You're going to change. No, you sit and you listen to reports, and you might, other than setting the agenda for the General Assembly, most of it is just listening to reports. The one exception of that was when COVID hit, and we had to make some hard decisions about do we have a General Assembly Okay, not having a General Assembly, how does this change our whole tenure and our elections? And boy, that was.
Do you have parliamentarians coming into the room, or you have them on standby? How do y'all do that?
Well, you have them on standby, and then of course the Church of God has a parliamentarian on retainer, a professional.
Okay.
And so, especially as we were trying to navigate tenure and all of that, he was in on all of our. There was a lot of conference calls and a lot of Zoom calls about that. He was in on all of that.
Let me ask, because I love this conversation.
Yeah.
Tenure. So we're going to be in a really weird place. Not this assembly, next assembly. 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Where our overseer and first assistant general overseer both have served. At that point, will be 6 years.
Right.
And are they going to be able to be voted back in for a 4-year term, or are they going to be able to be voted back in for a 2-year term of a 4-year term?
2-year term.
Even though we're voting for a 4-year term,
Yes.
they're just going to be able to serve the 2
cap
years.
there's a larger cap of you can only be on a committee 8 years.
Okay.
And so the current ruling of the parliamentarian is they will be eligible to be reelected.
Okay.
But it'll just be noted they can only serve 2 years.
Okay.
And that's the best thing to do. If you try to vote to resync it or whatever, then you'll be voting every time there's an out of sync committee, which could be any time. Somebody could resign, and then all of a sudden committee's out of sync. Somebody could, heaven forbid, die or whatever.
If somebody resigns, they don't have like a no process of moving up. You just send out a thing to vote again.
No, I think, and we have to look in minutes. I think everybody moves up, and then you go to the general secretary treasurer position, and you see who were the top 2 names not elected, and you send out ballots.
Okay.
And to the general body.
Is that what happened when David Blair passed away? Those were Brian Yon and
when David Blair passed, then Rob Bailey moved into his position, and so you were given 2 names. I think it was Brian Yon and David Jarvis.
It was Jarvis.
And we all got letters, and we voted by mail. I don't think we voted electronically.
I think it was by mail, yeah.
And we sent it back in. You had 30 days, and it was decided Brian. So, it's the same way at the executive committee, as best I remember.
So interesting.
Yeah. It's an interesting system. It's an interesting process.
So that means in 2 years, we vote them 2 more years.
And then in 2 years, we'll come back and the positions are open. Yeah. But again, you always remember, and the body emphasized this the last time around with COVID, there's an 8-year cap in that executive committee. And once those 8 years
emphasized that
up,
it was our overseer, Tim Hill, right?
To give him 2 more years.
Yeah.
Would have extended him beyond the 8 years, and the body said, "No, we're not. We don't extend beyond the 8 years." So it was, and I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I don't, there was a lot of discussion about should we even have this conversation at the assembly. But anyway,
what's the age difference between you and your brother?
4.5 years.
Same with me and my brother. He's older. You're older.
He's older.
Same with me and my brother.
Baby. I'm the baby.
Same with me and my brother.
Yeah.
And my brother was the polished one, the chosen one, the one that was Jesus in all of the plays, and I was I hope you graduate high school guy. So what was it like growing up with?
Well, my brother was the athlete. My brother was all-state quarterback.
Yeah.
He kicked 50-yard field goals when he was 10th grade.
Wow.
He had letters from Alabama, from Notre Dame, from Tennessee, from Georgia Tech. I remember we went to a Clemson game. He was being recruited, and we sat up in the stands. Benny Cunningham was tight end for Clemson, who wound up playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so that was Tom was the athlete and had a scholarship to go play football, but at camp meeting, the Lord spoke to his heart one year, and he left, went to Lee, went in ministry. Crazy. Yeah, just a whole 180. Went in ministry, and his ministry's unbelievably successful. He was youth pastor at North Cleveland. He's been youth director, state overseer. He was one of the 3 guys who started Winterfest.
Yeah. That's what I always say. His thumbprint is Winterfest.
Winterfest. And he's the one who stuck with it, the other two guys.
Right.
But he's directed Winterfest for all these years. It's a little bit, I'm sure it's rewarding my dad and mom, but now Bo, my son, or our son, is the chairman of the Smoky Mountain Winterfest. So, yeah, it is kind of cool. So that was him. Me, I came out of high school and wasn't really sure.
Businessman.
Wound up that way.
Yeah.
I remember asking, I told the Lord, if you're going to call me, okay, my dad's a pastor, my brother's in ministry, my granddad's in ministry. So, and I was like 17 or 18. Okay, if you're going to call me, here I am.
Do it now.
Nothing happened. And so I took an interest in computers, and I got a little associate's degree in computer programming and went into business, went to work for Greenville Hospital System, went to Michelin Tire Corporation, went to Fluor Daniel Engineering, back to the hospital, and this is when computers suddenly exploded.
Right.
And so I was the executive director of telecommunications and computer systems. So I was over all of their computer networks and their telephone networks, and but all that time I had been doing part-time ministry gigs. Mm-hmm. I was the music director at the Easley Church of God. Easley Church of God, which meant I led the old convention book songs.
Yes.
I put on a cantata every Christmas. That was my job. I did that while I was working in the hospital, and went to Tremont and did some work with them. Wasn't on staff but volunteered with young adults, and then we wound up at Praise. I actually went to Praise Cathedral as a member.
Okay. Now,
long story short, I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
I'd become a little bit embittered toward the Church of God. Mm-hmm. How open and honest and long do you want to go?
Yeah.
My dad did not get, when my dad was evangelism director and came out of the office, the overseer there did not take care of my dad. Mm. And it kind of put a sour taste in my mouth.
Because your dad had committed all these years
all his
to
life
serving
doing
the
that,
Church of God.
Yeah.
So now
he was disappointed with initially. Now, long term he was happy with it, but initially he was disappointed. So we weren't satisfied. So I actually went to Assembly of God Church for a while and enjoyed it. It was different. Mm-hmm. It's not family like we are.
Right.
So my wife said, we're going to Praise. And I said, no, I'm not going to Praise. I said, if Jesus told me to go to Praise, I'd argue with him. And she would say, well, we're going to Praise. I said, hell will freeze over before I go. So I'm living proof that don't ever say never.
Crazy.
Never say never. So we went into Praise that first Sunday. I sat on the back row and cried the whole time.
How crazy.
Because
Bobby Johnson's pastor.
Bobby Johnson was pastor, but I walked in that door, and as soon as I walked in the door, somebody hugged me. Mm. And I got 10 more feet, and somebody else hugged me. And I sat there. I can't tell you what Bobby preached that Sunday.
No.
But it was like, I'm home.
Yeah.
And so stayed at Praise. I was on the church council. Darrell Croft was the children's pastor.
Okay.
Darrell went to the Winsboro Church of God as pastor, and Bobby Johnson came up to me and said, would you be the part-time children's pastor? And Dad always said, whatever needs to be done, it's what you do. And so I said, sure. And that was February of 94. And by August of 94, I knew that I was a called pastor. Yeah. Took a 68% pay cut.
Yeah.
And became a children's pastor and was very happy. Mm-hmm. I love being. You can yell at children; they love you the next week. They still love you.
Yeah.
And mamas and daddies aren't like that.
Yeah.
But stayed at Praise. Bob, Chris Starr was the youth pastor.
Yeah.
He was on your podcast, and he was my neighbor. We lived in side-by-side parsonages, and our kids grew up together, and he wanted to go start a church, and he did. And about a year later, Bobby said, I think I want to retire, and I was the only one left. So I was one of the first associate pastors to become pastor. It wasn't popular because not only that, back that was just opposite the way the system was. Associate pastor became pastor, but Praise was the largest church in the state.
Wow.
And it was the first church I tell people, this is just my first church. Be patient with me.
Had y'all already built the new sanctuary?
We had.
Okay.
We had. But yeah, he retired, and there was a little 2-year transition there. And I became the pastor January 1st of
Incredible.
02. And the Lord's been very good to us. Much better than we deserve. So that's the story. That's how I was asked, Marcus Lamb, when he was living, I was on Daystar, and he asked me about the journey. And here's the best way I describe it. I did not choose the path I walked. I just walked what was in front of me.
Yeah. Such good wisdom.
And so to sit down and say, I find God just generally leads to the next step.
Yeah.
Here's the next step. Go here.
Steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord.
Yeah, my grandfather wrote that in my high school Bible. But, you always get a Bible at high school graduation, and he took it and wrote that on the first page in pencil, the steps of a good man have ordered by the Lord. And
Thanks, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Thank you for hanging out with me.
And hey, man, are you kidding? I enjoy it. I enjoy being with you every chance I can.
Yeah, I feel
you
so.
always have so much energy.
I try.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
You drink caramel macchiatos and double
I'll
shot
drink anything they put in
espressos.
front of me. Right now it's water, but
Be careful, they'll bring you up on charges for that.
it's true. Crazy. Appreciate you.
Oh, I love you,
Thanks for
buddy.
hanging out. Love
Always
you.
good to see you.
Peace. Let's go.